Good evening, students. So in the last class, we have explained the concept of the position time graph, velocity time graph, and acceleration time graph. And also we have studied the concept of the equations of motion. In the case of the equations of motion, we have derived the three equations, that is V is equal to U plus AT, S is equal to UT plus half AT squared, and V squared equals to U squared plus 2AS. Also, you have studied the concept of the distance traveled in the nth second, that is Sn is equal to U plus A by 2 into 2n minus 1. V squared equals to U squared plus 8s. Also, you have studied the concept of yeah. Now, let us take up the next important concept, students. That is acceleration due to gravity. Let us talk about the concept of what? Acceleration due to gravity. This is denoted by the symbol G. Now, if I consider the Earth surface, from the Earth surface, if I go to particular height, let us say I've taken the particle of certain mass m to a height h. Now, I'm going to drop this particle. I'm going to drop this particle. If you drop this particle, can you tell me what is the initial velocity of the body? Initial velocity of the particle will be 0. Initial velocity of the particle will be 0. If you drop this particle, what will happen? This mass of the particle will move towards the Earth surface. It will move towards the Earth surface. When it is moving, it comes out to be with constant acceleration. It comes out to be with the constant acceleration. This constant acceleration is what we called as the acceleration due to gravity. So acceleration due to gravity is the one with which the particle is going to come down towards the Earth's surface with constant acceleration. This constant acceleration is what we called as the acceleration due to gravity. Its acceleration due to gravity will be equal to 9.8 meter per second squared. What is the value of the acceleration due to gravity? It is 9.8 meter per second square. Remember this. Now, how to write the equations of motion for this? Equation of motion for this. Now, remember, whenever the particle is dropping, just you replace the distance s with respect to height h. The distance has to be replaced by height h. Acceleration has to be replaced by g. Remember this. The distance s has to be replaced by h. Acceleration has to be replaced by g. So what will happen to the first equation, student? You know that first equation is v is equal to u plus at. In the place of at, you have to write it as gt. V is equal to u plus at. In the place of a, you have to write it as gt. So what is the second equation? The second equation is s. So s is replaced by h, which is equal to ut plus of at squared. Of at squared means it is of gt squared. So what is the height of the particle? Height of the particle is given by h is equal to ut plus of gt squared. What about the third equation? The third equation is v squared is equal to u squared plus 2as. 2as means it is 2gh. So you have to replace the distance s by h and you have to replace a by g. So these are the three equations of motion. So what is the fourth equation? Distance traveled in the nth second is given by u plus a by 2. In the a by 2, you can replace g by 2 into 2n minus 1. So what is the distance traveled in the nth second? The distance traveled in the nth second is given by the formula u plus g by 2 into 2n minus 1. So acceleration due to gravity. So you remember these equations. Yeah. Now, addition to this, you have to concentrate on the vertical motion under the action of gravity. This is what we have derived. U is the initial velocity, V is the final velocity, T is the time taken, G is the acceleration due to gravity, S is the displacement, and distance traveled in the nth second is displacement in the nth second. Clear? So these are the explanation of the symbols. Students, addition to this, you have to remember the 2 or 3 important formulas related to this. Example. Now, I'm going to consider the Earth surface. I'm considering the Earth surface. From the Earth surface, I'm taken a particle to a certain height. I'm taking the particle to a certain height over here. This particle mass is m. This particle mass is m, height is h. If you drop this particle with initial velocity 0, if you just drop the particle with initial velocity 0, now this ball is going to come to the ground. Can you calculate what is the velocity when this particle comes to ground? And what is the time taken by the particle to reach this ground? What's the formula? Velocity is equal to, or you can use the formula v squared is equal to u squared plus 2as. Final velocity you have to find. Initial velocity will be 0 plus 2 into a is nothing but g. Distance covered is h. So v squared is equal to 2gh. So what is velocity v? V is nothing but root of 2gh. So what is the formula for the velocity of the particle when it comes to the ground? When it reaches to the ground, its velocity is given by v is equal to root of 2gh. Yeah. Can you calculate the time? How to calculate the time? Yeah. So you can use the formula v is equal to u plus a into t. Here the final velocity v is equal to u plus at. U is 0 plus a is nothing but g into t. Velocity can be taken as root of 2gh, which is equal to, this g can be taken as root g into root g into t. So t will be equal to root of 2gh divided by root g into root g. One root g will get cancelled out. So time taken will be root of 2h by g. So what is the time taken? Time taken will be equal to root of 2h by g. Please remember these two important formulas, students. Whenever the particle is dropped from certain height with initial velocity 0, what is the velocity v? V is equal to root of 2gh, and the time taken by the particle is given by root of 2h by g. Got it? Yeah. These are the just equations of the motions whenever it is falling freely. This is what I have explained actually to got these formulas. Just in all the formulas, we have taken initial velocity is 0. That is u is equal to 0. So v is equal to what? U plus gt, right? Take u 0. So v will be equal to gt. So v squared will be 2gs. S is equal to half gt squared. Distance traveled in the nth second will be g into n minus 1 by 2. Students, while solving the problems for gravity, so while solving the problems based on gravity, please use the sign convention. If you throw the particle upward, you please take the height as positive and the velocity as positive. If it is coming downward, you take height as negative and the velocity as negative. So height and velocity are negative if it is coming downward, and height and velocity are going to be taken as positive when it is moving upward. For both the case, please remember the acceleration which you had taken as g, that should be taken negative. So the value of g is always negative. G value is always negative. Height should be positive for vertically upward. Initial velocity u is also positive when it is moving vertically upward. But when coming downward, you have to take the height and velocity as negative, and acceleration due to gravity will be negative. This is for the gravity problems. Use this sign convention. It will be easy to understand you. Yeah. This is in the case of particle which is thrown vertically upward with velocity u. So if I consider the object on the surface, from the surface I am going to throw the particle vertically upward with the velocity u. With the vertical velocity u. When it starts moving vertically upward with velocity u, it comes to the certain height. When it reaches certain height, what is the distance it has covered? What is the velocity, final velocity, and what is the time taken? All these things can be calculated by using these equations. Same equation, students. Just you have to write a, which is g, should be taken with negative. So look at the first equation. Instead of writing v is equal to u plus at, just here a is replaced by minus g. Sir, what will happen to v and u? Both v and u will be positive because the particle is moving. Particle is moving vertically upward, right? Since the particle is moving vertically upward, V is equal to U minus GT. S is equal to UT minus half GT squared. V square minus U square equals to minus 2GS, or V square equals to U square minus 2GS. A very simple equations. So remember this equations of motion when it is moving vertically upward with certain velocity. Students, already I had given the explanation for this. Now, if you want to find if any particle is coming under the gravity with initial velocity 0, what is the height it has covered? Height is given by the formula U squared by 2G. What is the time taken? U by G. Similarly, time of descent is also U by G. The time taken is given by T is equal to root of 2H by G. Here I've taken velocity V, that is given by root of 2gh. If you're squaring on both the side, and you can calculate h. This is the formula you will get. So please remember, whenever the particle is moving under the action of gravity, what is the height? U squared by 2g. What is the time of ascent or time of descent? It is U by G. What is the time taken in terms of height? It is root of 2h by G. So I hope I have derived all these formulas in the vertical motion. So these are the equations of motion. Yeah. Come to the last concept of the theory 1, that is relative velocity. Now, what is the meaning of the relative velocity, students? So, what is the meaning of the relative velocity, students? In order to understand in a better way, let us consider an example like this. Now, suppose if this is the observer. Let us say this is the observer A. Now, there is a one more person, that is B. Now, person A is at rest. Person B is moving with velocity, let us say 10 meters per second. So, this is your normal velocity with respect to observer A. So, this is the normal velocity for the observer A. Now, suppose if this body A is not at rest, this body A is moving with velocity V 10 meters per second. Then observer A feels that the body B is at rest. With respect to body A, B is at rest. Why the body feels the body is at rest? Why the body A feels the body B is at rest? Because both are moving with the same velocity. So the velocity with respect to each other will be 0. Then this velocity, what you are talking 0, is the relative velocity between A and B. So if one body is at rest, and if you are describing the velocity of the second body, then it is a normal velocity only. If two bodies are moving, body A and body B, then if the body A is moving with velocity VA and VB is moving with the velocity VB, then you cannot discuss the normal velocity because both the bodies are in motion. Whenever you are going to talk about both the bodies are in motion, then only you have to talk about the relative velocity. You have to talk about the relative velocity. Now, what is that relative velocity? Relative velocity of A with respect to body B is given by velocity of A with respect to body B is denoted with VAB. What is VAB? Velocity of body A with respect to body B. That is given by VA minus VB. Similarly, if you want acceleration, you can use the same AA minus AB. Now, what is the relative velocity of body B with respect to body A? It is VB minus VA. If you are going to discuss about the body B velocity with respect to A, then it is VB minus VA. So VAB is the relative velocity of body A with respect to body B. VBA is the velocity of the body B with respect to body A. Suppose this is the formula is going to be valid if the two bodies are moving in the same direction. Please remember that, students. If two bodies are moving in the same direction, then the relative velocity is subtracted. Suppose if this is the body A, which is moving with the velocity VA, and this is the second body B, which is moving with the velocity VB, then what is the relative velocity of body A with respect to body B? It is VA minus of relative velocity of body B, that is minus VB. So which is equal to VA plus VB. So please remember, if two bodies are moving in the opposite direction, then the relative velocity must be added up. Relative velocity must be added up. So VAB is equal to VA minus of minus VB. So if two bodies are in the same direction, relative velocity must be subtracted. If two bodies are moving in the opposite direction, then the relative velocity must be added up. So that is VA plus VB. Suppose, sir, if it is not moving either in the same direction or in the opposite direction. Suppose if the body A is moving with the velocity VA and the second body B is moving in this direction with the velocity VB, the angle between them is theta. Now clearly you can see either the body A and B are not in parallel position or not in the perpendicular position. They are making an angle theta. Then what is the relative velocity of body A with respect to body B? It is root of, remember, it is VA squared plus VB squared minus 2 times of VA VB cos theta. So this is the general formula, students. This is the general formula you have to remember to find the relative velocity of the body A with respect to body B when they are making an angle theta. When they are making an angle theta. Got it? So it is easy to remember for you also. If two bodies are in the same direction, relative velocity must be subtracted. If two bodies are moving in the opposite direction, relative velocity must be added up. If they are moving at an angle theta, then the relative velocity will be root of VA squared plus VB squared minus 2 VA VB cos theta. I hope you understood the concept of the relative velocity, students. So these are the theory problems, I mean the theory concepts of the first chapter, that is motion in a straight line. Now, let us take up the questions now, students, one by one. One by one, we let us take up the questions. Look at the first problem. Look at the first problem. Preeti reached the metro station and found that escalator was not working. She walked up the stationary escalator in a time T1. On other days, she remains stationary on moving escalator and the escalator takes a time T2. So on some other days, escalator is working. So she is at stationary and escalator is moving and it takes time to reach with T2. Then what will be the time taken by her to walk up on the moving escalator? Even escalator is moving. On moving the escalator, the lady Preeti is walking on that moving escalator. Then the time taken is what is asking. So that to understand this problem in a better way, let me analyze this by putting the diagram so that you can analyze it easily. Yeah, how to analyze it? Look at this. Let us say this is the escalator. This is the escalator. Now the escalator is not moving. Escalator is not moving. So escalator is at rest. Now there is a person here. That lady is Preeti. Now this Preeti is going to climb this. Now she is going to step up this. And she reaches here. What's the time taken? Time taken is T1. Let us assume D is the distance traveled by the Preeti. What is D? D is the distance traveled by the Preeti. Yeah. Now, on the second case, the escalator is working. The escalator is working. Anyway, the distance is same. But the Preeti is at rest now. Preeti is at rest. This escalator is moving and it takes the time T2. It takes the time T2. Got it? Now, in the third case, escalator is also moving, but Preeti is also climbing. But the distance separated will be the same, isn't it? So what will be the time T3? You have to find out this. You have to find out this. Students, the distance traveled by the Preeti from initial position to the final position will be the same in all the three cases, but only the different ways says climbing that. Now you know that the time taken, the basic definition for the time is nothing but the distance traveled divided by the velocity. Distance divided by the velocity. How to calculate the time T1? And the velocity. They're reciprocal, isn't it? Because in all the three cases, the distance is traveling with the same. This distance is same. So how to calculate the T3 value? Velocity for the first case plus The velocity of this second case should be equal to V3, right? Because here Preeti is also climbing. The escalator is also moving. So V1 plus V2 must be equal to V3. V1 is d by T1. V2 is d by T2. V3 is d by T3. Because the distance traveled in all the three cases will be the same. So this d will get cancelled out. So 1 by T1 plus 1 by T2 equals to 1 by T3. This implies LCM will be T1, T2, right? So this will be T1 plus T2, which is equal to 1 by T3. So taking the reciprocal, T3 will be T1, T2 by T1 plus T2. So which is the right option? Option B. T1, T2 divided by T1 plus T2. Remember students, you have to go with the harmonic mean. Actually, this is also considered as what? The harmonic mean. So if both escalator and Preeti is climbing, the value will be less than that, either T1 or T2. She may reach early. So what will be the formula? It is T1, T2 divided by T1 plus T2. This is also a frequently asked question, students. Yeah. Come to this. I will take up this problem later, students, because it is an application of different derivatives. One class I will teach the concept of derivative, then I will take this type of problems. Or shall I take up this? Particle covers half of the total distance with V1 and rest of distance with speed V2. What is the average speed during the complete journey? What is the average speed during the complete journey? Students, as I said, if I say this is A and this is B, half of the journey. Half of the journey means the distance traveled from A to O and the distance traveled from O to B are same. So A to O speed is V1, O to B speed is V2. For this case, average speed is equal to what? For this case, the average speed will be 2V1 V2 by V1 plus V2. This was explained in the synopsis. That is, average speed for the equal distance is 2 times of V1 V2 by V1 plus V2 for equal intervals of time. Remember, for equal time, it is given by V1 plus V2 by 2. Sir, how to analyze this? If you want the solution, detailed solution, you assume T1 is the time taken to cover A to O. T2 is the time taken to cover from O to B. You assume like that. Then, how do you define the average velocity? You know the basic definition for average velocity is the total distance traveled divided by the total time taken. Total distance traveled divided by the total time taken. So average velocity will be, what is the total distance traveled? X plus X. What's the total time? T1 plus T2. So average velocity V bar, the X plus X value will be 2X. Time taken B, you know the definition for time. Time is distance by velocity. Distance by velocity. So distance is X, velocity is V1. For T2, distance is X, velocity is V2. So 2X, in the place of X by V1 plus X by V2, you can take out X common. It is 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2. So X and X will get cancelled out. If you take out the LCM and if you simplify this, here you can write 2 as it is. In 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2, LCM will be V1, V2. So this becomes V1 plus V2. So V1, V2 goes up. So it will become 2V1, V2 by V1 plus V2. So what is the average velocity? 2 times of V1, V2 by V1 plus V2. This is the average speed for the half of the journey V1. For the next half of the journey is V2. Yeah, this also I can solve it later after teaching the differentiation and the integration, students. Yeah, look at this. Particle moves in a straight line with constant acceleration. It changes its velocity from 10 meter per second to 20 meter per second. So what is the initial velocity, students? Initial velocity is 10 meter per second. What about the final velocity? 20 meter per second. After passing through a distance of 135 meter, after traveling a distance of 135 meter in a time of t seconds, they are expecting you to find what is t. Students, you have to find the acceleration to find the time. Without finding the acceleration, you can't find the time because here the acceleration keeps on changing. So how to find the acceleration? Use the formula v squared is equal to u squared plus 2as. V squared is equal to u squared plus 2as. What is v? 20 squared. What about u? 10 squared plus 2. We don't know what is acceleration and what is the distance covered? 135. 20 squared will be 400. 10 squared value will be 100 plus 2 into 135 will be 278. If I shift this 100 to the side, it will become 400 minus 100. That will be 300, which is equal to 270 times of A. So A value will be 300 divided by 270. So this 2 will get cancelled. 30 by 27, that is 10 by 9. 10 by 9 is approximately 1.1 or 1.11 meter per second square. But what they're expecting you to find, they're expecting you to find the time taken, that is the value of t. By using the formula v is equal to u plus a into t. What is final velocity? 20. What about the initial velocity? 10. Acceleration is, you can use either 10 by 9 or 1.1, it is t. So if I shift this to this side, it becomes 20 minus 10 is 10, which is equal to 10 by 9 into t. You can cancel out 10 and 10. So t will be equal to cross multiply 9 into 1 will be 9 seconds. So what is the time taken? 9 seconds. So option B will be the right answer. So if the particle is moving with the speed 10 meter per second and it takes to 20 meter per second after 135 meter, means for all these things is happening. All this is happening in a time of how many seconds? 9 seconds. So which is the right option? Option B is the right answer. Yeah. Look at this problem. The distance traveled by a particle starting from rest. Yeah. What is the meaning, Appa? If it is starting from rest means the initial velocity must be 0, right? And with what acceleration it is moving? 4 by 3 meter per second square. What is the distance traveled in the third second? Yeah. To find the distance traveled in the any particular time, the distance traveled in any particular time, if you want, what is the formula? The distance traveled in the nth second is given by u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. What is the distance traveled in the nth second? Distance traveled in the nth second is given by u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. Now they are talking about the distance traveled in the third second. So why u is 0? Because the particle is at rest. Plus a by 2. Acceleration is given 4 by 3 by 2 into 2 into n. N is 3. Because we are calculating for the third second. Minus 1. So 4 divided by this 3 into 2 will become 6. 2 into 3 will be 6 minus 1. This is 2 2s are 2 3s are. So 2 by 3. What is 6 minus 1? 5. So it will be 10 by 3. 10 by 3 means option is like that itself. So 3.33. So what is the distance traveled by the particle in the third second? The distance traveled by the particle in the third second is given by the formula, is given by the value 3.33 meter, or you can take 10 by 3 meter. So which is the right option? Option A is the right answer. Yeah. I think you can manage this problem, students. Car is moving from X to Y with uniform speed du. This is X. It is coming to Y with what speed? Let it be V1, Vu. And it returns to Y. It coming back. It returns to Y with speed Vd. Let it be V2, Vd. What is the average speed for the round trip? Students, as I said in the theory concept, the average speed is given by the formula 2 times of V1, V2 by V1 plus V2. Sir, why we are using this 2 V1, V2 by V1 plus V2? Because the body is moving from X to Y, then it is coming from Y to X. X to Y, Y to X. What is the meaning? What is the meaning? X to Y, Y to X. What is the meaning? Equal distance? No. The body has covered equal distance, right? So the average speed will be this. So it will be 2 times of Vu into Vd divided by Vu plus Vd. So which is the right option? Option D. So please be careful, students. Without solving the problem, you can tell option D is the right answer. Reason: the body is covering equal distances, right? Because returns to the same point. When it returns to the same point means distances are equal. So keep it in mind, when distances are equal, the average speed is given by 2 V1 V2 by V1 plus V2. So definitely there are no 2's in the options. So definitely you can go with option D is the right answer. So 2 times of V1 V2 divided by V1 plus V2. So option D is the right answer. Yeah. Look at this. How many bodies are there? Two bodies are there. One body mass is 1 kg. Another body mass is how much? 3 kg. They are dropped from with what heights? 16 meter and 25 meter. Let me write the diagram. This is 1 kg mass. This is 3 kg mass. This is 16 meter. This is 25 meter. Now, what is the time taken? Let it be for the first case T1, for the second case T2. This height I will take it as H1. This height I will take it as H2. This mass I will take it as M1. This mass I will take it as M2. Yeah. Students, as I explained just now, you know that whenever the particle is just dropped, the initial velocity must be 0. When the initial velocity is 0, the time taken by the particle to reach the ground is given by root of 2h by g, where g is constant for both, 2 even 2 is constant. So t is directly proportional to root h. T is directly proportional to root h. And please remember one more thing. This time doesn't depend on the mass. For any mass, the time taken will be root of 2h by g only. So in this problem, you have to remember time is not dependent on the mass. Time not depend on mass. So the time taken will be equal to, or time is directly proportional to root h. Therefore, can you tell me what is T1 by T2? T1 by T2 will be root of H1 by H2. Root of, what is H1? 16. What is H2? 25. So root of 16 by 25 will be 4 by 5. So what is the ratio? 4 by 5. So which is the right option? Option A is the right option. Option is A is the correct answer. That is 4 by 5. Got it, students? So these are the few problems which I covered in this today's session, Appa. But let me see few more problems in the next session. I will continue up with the MCQs of the same chapter for another 2 to 3 sessions, students. So for today's session, I'll stop at this stage. Let me continue in the next session. Thank you.